Good morning. Wanted to read a little bit. It's just a small paragraph. It's about Mane, tribute. I'll comment here and there. Of course, take everything I say with a grain of salt. I could be mistaken. If the king plunders his subjects' cattle, it is because what seems to be theirs is really his. Subjects' cattle. Well, cattle was sign of wealth. In the past, a person who had lots of cattle was wealthy. The best marriage gift was a piece of land and cattle, you know. The king was forced to plunder his subjects because maybe they refused to pay the tribute. There's a relationship that has to be maintained, right, between the subject and the king. The king's objective, the king's duty is to what? Protect the subjects, protect the borders, protect them militarily, take care of the accounting, and redistribute the wealth so that everybody benefits, I suppose. Of course, we have to be very careful with freeloaders. There's plenty that just want free lunch. The reason why we have such strict rules is because of them, the freeloaders. There's going to be always those who just want free lunch. So, for whatever reason, sometimes the subjects, there could be many, they just refuse to pay the tribute. So, the king had no other choice but to plunder their cattle. So, let's read again. If the king plunders his subjects' cattle, pecunia is money, wealth. If the king plunders his subjects' cattle, it's because what seems to be theirs is really his, just as God plunder us all. All whose great possessions are borrowed from him in the first place. You see, there's also a relationship between us and God. Yes. The psychophysical and the spiritual, there's a interchanging of things. The spiritual gives and you receive. The psychophysical gives and the spirit receives. There's a win-win situation. So be careful what you feed the spirit, right? For instance, don't feed the spirit fear. Don't feed the spirit hatred, envy, all of those bad things. Do not feed it. If you stay focused on those things, um, you know, it's not good. It doesn't appear to be good. It doesn't sound good for you, In the long run, it doesn't sound good. Next turn, you might, become an animal or something. You have to feed the spirit good things. Yeah, that's why evil people hate beauty. They hate creativity, spontaneity, and all beauty in general, because those are things that feed the spirit. You feed the spirit good things, and the spirit pays back. Yeah. So let's read this small paragraph again. If the king plunders his subjects' cattle, it is because what seems to be theirs is really his, just as God plunders us, all of whose great possessions are borrowed from him. Therefore, quote, render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's. It is for Caesar as for God to redistribute, quote, the food. There's a reciprocal relationship of the powers of the soul to the spirit in the individual microcosm, and the circulation of pecunia, of money, in the political microcosm correspond to that of the shower of wealth in the macrocosm, you see. It is not by demanding tribute and service, but by failing to expand his revenues for his people's goods, that the king becomes ungodly. You see, the king collects the wealth and then showers the population. The king showers the population with stability, protection, you know, with abundance. The king who fails to do so, he's evil. Yeah, is evil, is ungodly. And that's the same thing, analogically speaking, with the spirit. Feed the spirit good things, and the spirit will pay in return, and vice versa. You know, there's a reciprocal relationship within and without. When a system, a culture becomes overrun with evil, yeah, um, that's when it collapses. It just collapses. So anyway, the reason why also I wanted to read this is because of this phrase: "Render unto Caesar the things that are of Caesar, and to God the things are God." Some people said that this was made up. You know, oh no, someone made that up for an agenda. An agenda. This is actually very, very metaphysical. You know, there's people out there that hate metaphysics. Anyway,